Good morning! From my smartphone to yours, I'm Castin Love, here from the Series Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Wednesday Namaste Today. Good day and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my personal mission is to stand in my heart and help unite the light. This webisode is for Wednesday, March 9th, 2016, and today the Great Human Walk has reached step 19, Pisces. Hello friends, so nice to see you. Bella and I are excited to be of soul service. Today is a powerful day because we are manifesting our life. We're moving forward after a solar eclipse. And like I've said in the last couple of episodes, solar eclipses are pretty intense. Sometimes you see the effects 2 days before to 2 days after the eclipse. So you might be seeing major dramatic shifts, maybe spiritual miracles. All of the above really are possible right now. Before I move into today's vibe, I want to do a shout out to my friend Justine K. I did an episode of On the DL with Justine. I released it last week, but I just want to put it out there because she is she's a phenomenal psychic, and she has a product that helps you reprogram your subconscious to heal your relationships. All right, and I think that's a really cool, affordable product and good timing. Pisces is all about subconscious, getting to the subconscious, digging it up, and clearing it out. All right, so let's move on to today's vibe. Today's vibe is sunny and manifesting. Today, everyone is manifesting. That's because step 19, Pisces, rules the day. And 19 is that I love what I'm doing and I'm going to keep doing it. 9, so I love it and keep doing it. I love it and keep doing it. This is kind of the Pisces, you could say in Pisces, this would be where the fish swim in circles. And this is really just getting things stirred up and keeping it going. All right, we're going to move on to step 20 where things get very passionate. And because step 20 is water ruled on, this is a whole different, the 20s in Pisces are, let's say, psychedelic. All right, so if things get psychedelic in the next 24 hours. Today we're just kind of moving forward. So my heart today is holding space. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm holding space, keeping it going, not turning back. All right, loving and trusting what I'm doing and not second-guessing what I'm doing. That's what my heart is doing today. I'm feeling impatient, though. The moon is in the high degrees of Pisces for half the day, which is all about, like, keep the faith, keep the faith, keep the faith, keep the faith, keep the faith. And then the moon moves into Aries, which is hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's a little shifty. I'll be putting out a serious joy alert to my subscribers during that. So, you know, that's kind of the day. I'm open today to my commitments. Venus is at step 26. Hallelujah. The wind just blew just now. Hallelujah. I'm open to my commitments, step 26 Aquarius, so I'm going to stay committed to that. And I am thinking about spirit. Mercury's at step 7 Pisces, which is the most psychic step for Mercury to be at. This is a very telepathic step, so a lot of people receiving messages, if nothing else, in dreams the last 24 hours or next 24 hours. And I am loving the story. Mars is in step 1 of Sagittarius. Step 1 is I love. Sagittarius is the story. It is the adventure. It is the belief. So I am loving the story. So even though there's a lot of things changing, I think we're all loving the story, and I think we all know the story is beginning. And finally, I am innovating today, the new me. That's Uranus at step 18, and the moon will be hitting Uranus the next day or so, so we're going to feel this new me, and I am innovating and feeling it. So, your joy quest, should you choose to accept it today, my friend, is to just go with it. Just keep going. This is just like Finding Nemo, where it's like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming. I actually, that and Dory in my head, actually, honestly, Dory's a light walker to me, like that little fish, just keep swimming. There was times when I was in the hospital, I was singing that. So I'm grateful that there's a new movie coming out based on Dory. Hallelujah for that. But that's what today is. You just keep swimming. You just keep going. You don't talk about it. You don't second guess it. And really, you'll find that because today's all about following through with your actions, and today's about keeping with your routine. Because Mercury's at step 7, while you're doing the dishes, you'll get a lot of psychic intuition. While you're in this action, you'll get a lot of psychic intuition. And a lot of people who have 9s in their Neptunes, they're very, very psychic when they're doing action. So today's one of those days where you'll find that things come to you while your body's distracted in a routine. All right, so just go with it, my friend. We are moving forward into the high degrees of Pisces, and let's now take a look at today's topic. Today's topic is psychic hair tips. Tips to feeling it all. I don't know why I said that. Actually, that's why Justine came up today earlier to my psychic friend, because we met through this, we tell the story in the interview where I met her basically through a TV show I did about psychics and hair salons. And so I thought of psychic hair tips. But I want to give you guys a little bit of story about psychic awareness. We're moving into the high degrees of Pisces now, and this is where you can do some really cool stuff. And I want to share a little bit of Sensei story time with you about my psychic story. A lot of people ask me about my psychic story. It's been a common question that comes up when I do the Love Fests. And I want to share with everyone just formally kind of how I came into it. I never used to call myself a psychic. I was afraid of that growing up. That was because I don't know. I think the truth is that once I became a teenager, I was afraid of it. But really, when I was young, I would always notice that when I look up in the sky, the answer would come. So that was my first indication of it as a child. I look up in the sky, and the answer would come. But I just thought I was smart or lucky. And I didn't know if I was making it up or not. My inner child was concerned ethically, actually, about the source of the information, and I can remember that I was concerned about that. I didn't really share it with my family, but I had a very interesting family. My parents raised us to meditate. My dad was actively psychic. He talked about using the Force. My mother did tarot cards. So I had a family that I think somewhat rebelled against, and so as I came into my 18 years old, 1920, I found astrology. Now, astrology also had a lot of clues that I was psychic, but I hadn't quite figured that out either yet, because I would notice that I would look at the planets and an answer would come. So now I wasn't looking up, I was looking at a planet. It's just like the answer would come. And so I would go look it up in a book. Holy moly, that's exactly it. And what's funny is, in my mind, more information would come than the book offered. So being scientifically trained, I mean, not formally trained, but I took plenty of science, physics, everything. I know how it works. So my mind, right away was like, well, let's just see. So I spent a lot of time observing, what I would pick up. The client, did it happen or not happen? I would say it or not say it, or I'd listen to and pay attention. And I was seeing that, gosh golly, I'm pretty damn intuitive here. I'm pretty sharp. I pick up on a lot of this. Now, I'd be doing readings for people, and I'd be doing it basically on, astrology. And of course, I would hit a planet, something would come up, I'd talk about it. So it just became such a routine to do these readings and have this information come to me very quickly and talk about it. But still, I wouldn't say I ever call myself a psychic, all right? Until I got a reading with another astrologer who, on the day that Saturn conjunct my Uranus, by the way, my natal Uranus, so that's a huge day, and it's in my third house, which is my mind. So Uranus is in my third house, my mind. This is why I have an innovative mind. But when Saturn conjunct my Uranus, I got this reading, and this psychic told me, or this astrologer told me, you're actually psychic, but don't realize it because you're concerned about being like your mother, which is based on your lunar eclipse in the 12th. And she's just like, you got Uranus here, and it's just like, so basically you're a very powerful psychic. You never learned astrology, you just downloaded it. And I was like, huh. And for that moment, it's just almost like you could feel a pop in my head. Like my head popped, like something, like a cork popped off. And I suddenly was like, oh my God, I think you're right. Like, I think maybe I am very psychic, and I have been afraid of that. Afraid of telling people, afraid of gambling on it, afraid. So from that point on, my observations were, what I realized was that I could go to Spirit, ask a question, get the answer immediately. So at that point, it was like a kid in the candy store, and I was asking all sorts of things that took a long time to see or not, things that, in my own personal life. At the same time, my father passed away, so that made the whole psychic thing more mystical and weird, and he was talking to me when he was dead, and so I had to think about, do I believe this? And I have to say I've had many, many affirmations, actually, that's made me do believe, and that's what I would say to anybody who's out there exploring their psychic realm is just be patient with yourself for your own affirmations and what you do see and what you do believe. But I think once I read Conversations with God, which was about a year ago, and God was talking about all of it and how it all works, that was the final piece that just allowed me to completely listen to my psychic awareness anytime. Now, and what I mean by that is basically asking you say asking your guides. The truth is, I don't ask my guides a lot of stuff because I want to do it myself. Like, that's the truth. Like, they'll tell me, and a lot of times I don't know I don't like the answer. It's like, should we go da-da-da-da? It's like, no, that's not going to happen because there's a little. It's like, that's kind of a bummer, like, so I get answers right away. One of the things I want to share about psychic awareness is that when God speaks to us, she uses our whole conscious awareness to talk to us. So when you ask a question, you will receive the answer on the radio, on TV, with where your eyes happen to glance, in a dream, of course, those types of things. But, a lot of people they overlook them as coincidence and they never count them. It's like, count them, write it down, like, look for yourself. The evidence becomes so ridiculous. It's almost like, God's in heaven going, hear me? Is this on? You know what I mean? Like, sorry if that annoyed you, but that's what it feels like once you connect. They literally are, dying, to connect to us, and it's right there, and it's present so often that you realize there's not being alone, and you will find your technique. So I bring all this out because a lot of my clients that I've been reading lately are very psychic, and they didn't know, like, they're awakening, just like. And I take privilege in seeing where there's people like me who are psychic and don't know it. And so I want to put out there to people, to follow your instincts, particularly now in Pisces, to follow your instincts when it comes to who you're drawn to, as readers, practitioners. Like, these things come through, and you see the synergy, you see it all come together. But you have to pay attention, watch the signs, and listen to your own insides too, and kind of map the two together. All right, always listen to your insides and watch the signs on the outsides, and see where they click. That's how you start wiring it up. All right, that 7-minute segment, I think that's perfect for a Wednesday, just to talk about spirituality. Let's wrap this up with the Zen Den. And welcome to the Zen Den. Let's take 3 breaths, but before we do, I am casting a light of royal blue around you and me, or me and you, I should say. And in that royal blue, I'm casting golden light. Golden light is a particular light, my friend. It's one that charges you on an angelic level, and I'm loving you and sending you this golden light. Let's take 3 breaths. Okay, and I have an affirmation for you. I am loving and trusting today, my actions all the way. I am loving and trusting today, my actions all the way. And the point here is to love and trust your actions, to not second guess them. I always say to people on a manifestation day, you're better off manifesting the wrong thing and throwing it back in the river than you are stopping a manifestation in progress. You certainly want to move forward. You don't want to argue. You don't want to look back. This is the time where we move forward and we manifest. Trust your own actions today, just like Bella trusts her own spinning back there. Isn't that funny? So that said, let's take a look at the planets and see what they have to say. We are recuperating today from a solar eclipse. The sun is now at step 19, that is I love and I act, which ends up being a 10. I manifest, which is I love and I trust. So we're in a manifestation vortex. And as we go in this manifestation vortex, we bring with us Chiron, the wounded healer, which is at step 20. That's I feel and vulnerable or protected. Depends on if you've done your soul work. So today the moon will the moon ends it's crossed Chiron really early before the day began, to be honest. Really, we're in the high degrees of Pisces, and we move into the early degrees of Aries, and this is the crankiness I'm predicting for the beginning. This is just a typical post-manifestation cranky, okay? So don't worry about it. Part of the cranky, though, is Mars. Mars is at step 1 Sagittarius, and that means there's pressure to get started. Plus, Mars is in the early degrees of any sign is impatient, and the moon will be also in Aries, which is adding impatience. But Mars here in this sign means it's time to see if our belief structure works. So, folks, you're going to see as Saturn tip-tops, stops, and retrogrades back, Mars moving forward means we're going to get a dry run of whether or not this philosophy works. So a good example is socialism with Bernie Sanders. He's a democratic socialist, he says, right? That's a whole new philosophy. That's a whole new discussion. We'll see if it works as Mars crosses up to Saturn. So anyone's bullshit or spin will be tested, and it will work or not work. We'll see if Trump stuff works. And I keep bringing up politics because it's just so evident, but you're probably seeing this sort of thing in your office, in your family, like where certain people have a philosophy, they think it's going to work. We'll see. We're going to light it up. We're going to see if it actually works or not. Mercury is at step 7, and when Mercury is at step 7, we are telepathic. So today's a very telepathic day. Observe your thoughts. Try not to drive your thoughts. Venus is at step 26. That's I feel it and I am receiving. So you want to be open to the receiving. Gratitude is the attitude of receiving. So staying in gratitude is the best thing. And then lastly, I just want to bring up Uranus. This is what we are innovating. Uranus is at step 18, which adds to a 9. The moon is heading for this Uranus. So, in essence, this impatience that you might be feeling, really, we're birthing a new ego. That's going to happen when the sun crosses Uranus. Well, when the sun enters Aries, we birth a new ego, and then when the sun crosses Uranus, we have to take that ego even higher. So you might be feeling a little foreshadow of things to come in the early parts of today, like just feeling like, oh, this is going to be hard, or I have to clean out the closet, that's going to be hard. And so trying to let that get to you, I always tell, especially with the telepathy, Spirit does try to warn us way ahead of time, like, hey, just so you know, just so you're not surprised, just so it's not a blind shock. So a lot of the resistance is the term I'm coming up with. A lot of resistance you might be feeling today is really foreshadow of what to plan for to make it easier when the sun gets there next month. Yep, I think that is it. We're going to close there, folks. So grateful to be of soul service for you. I do want to point out there, if you were watched over my personal Sensei service, today your eye candy at 3 p.m. We'll talk about what you should be looking for in the harvest. So the harvest is based on 6 months ago. When the sun was in Virgo, I'm going to be pointing out, hey, you should be looking and seeing harvest now of these manifestations. And it's funny, on manifestation days, you do see the harvest. I also want to say to everyone, I am doing a reading special this week. Please book me because I do go fast, but I've lowered the price by $50, and I have appointments available in March and April. So you might want to dive in now. I'm kind of grounding myself in Southern California and working on some projects, so I've opened up some reading days, and I'm going to help a lot of people get through a lot of karma. This is kind of what I do. I slow down, do a lot of readings, then speed up and go travel, that sort of thing. So if you want one, listen to your instincts right now. All right, friends, I love you so much. I am grateful to be of soul service, and I'll see you in 24 hours with more. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.